Hello, viewers. Welcome to our Disability Week. My name is Andrew Nyomo. I welcome you all as we share the story that we hope will bring hope and will bring great things into our development, and as we think about the rights of those who have disability. And we welcome you all. Either you have disability or not, you're welcome. And I hope, we're supposed to wear a mask, yes. But I believe we have a huge distance between us, so we don't have to, so that it is clear and so that you can understand that which we are talking. So today, as we talk about disability, I know we all coming from, we have different ways of life. We come in different sizes and shapes. We come in different colors. We have different abilities and disabilities. And all of us are created in the image of God. That is a big thing, that we are all created in the image of God. And as we talk about this Disability Week, our main theme for this week is that not all disabilities are visible. Not all disabilities are visible. And our topic today, we are talking about reaffirming disability human rights in the church. Yes, there are so many places that we can talk about. Our guest today is Mr. Alex Munyere, who works for the National Council for Persons with Disability. And he works as a Senior Disability Services Officer, and is also an elder in the Presbyterian Church. So welcome, Mr. Alex.
Thank you.
And before we go on, I also want to introduce our sign language interpreter, who is Judy Kihumba. So you're all welcome. So Mr. Alex,
yes,
I would like you to begin by just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm glad and delighted to be part of this wonderful Disability Week hosted by St. Andrew's PCA Church. We are really thankful for the church, the way the church is coming up to mainstream disability into their programs. And thank you for the management and the leadership of this church. We are very proud. Personally, I am from Kajiado Presbytery, and I'm an elder there at the Ololo Itikoshi Parish. That is where I stay, other than working in Nairobi, where you've been told I come from those sides. And I'm also born again. I love Jesus as a personal savior, and I'm happy that he called me out of the many, and he showed me his ways, and that is why I delight to work with him, for him, and in him, for the betterment of the kingdom of God. Yes.
Thank you. And I would also like you to tell us a little bit, being the Senior Disability Services Officer, what is your responsibility?
Okay, first of all, the National Council for Persons with Disabilities is a government agency that was formed out of an Act of Parliament, Disabilities Act 2003. We are charged with the responsibility of, among other things, doing registration for persons with disabilities. We offer programs like the education support, disability mainstreaming. We also help institutions to mainstream disability within themselves. We have very many activities, but in particular, my program entails rehabilitation. It's called rehabilitation and habilitation, where we offer sunscreen lotions for persons with albinism. We also we support service providers with the basic sign language skills, where we train front office workers on how to communicate with the deaf. We also do provide assistive devices of all the categories. And finally, we do the rehabilitation itself. Should you right now, God forbid, fall blind right now, we assist you to be trained in an institution to be rehabilitated. So that is basically what we do at the National Council. But there are so many other activities that we do there. Like we have a legal department that advises persons with disabilities on issues to do with the legal issues. We have so many other departments that are supportive our core mandate. Yes.
Thank you. It is good to hear all that and to know that there's something that being done in this country to help many people who have that challenge.
Yes.
But as we talk today, I just want to take you a little bit backward, from, your childhood. Because, this may look like a funny joke or anything, but I believe, I remember when we are growing up, and so people like you were used to call them wazungu.
Wazungus, and then you would tease them around.
Yes, because we didn't understand what was going on.
Okay.
How was your experience as you grew up?
Well, I had a very, very challenging upbringing from my childhood. Remember, I told you I come from Kajiado, and you can see, you know very well, Kajiado is one of the tropics. We experience a lot of long, prolonged sun and droughts, and the environment there in Kajiado is very harsh for a person with albinism like me, who has a tender skin that is very sensitive to sunburn. So you can imagine, when I was coming up, growing up, of course, born in born to parents who didn't know how to handle a white child. With all the challenges, of course, my mother was even accused of going around with a missionary. There was a missionary guy who was around our home, who was, of course, from, I don't know whether he was from Britain or America, but I think it was Britain. My mother was told, yes, you have given birth to a child who is white, then definitely that is their father. And it was a rough time when I was growing up, rejection from the society, rejection from, of course, the family, but I'm glad my father gladly accepted responsibility because by God's grace, there was another relative who was born like me. So my father kind of silenced the noises that was telling my mother that she went to sleep around with somebody else. Then the challenges of, for persons with albinism, we have low vision. We are myopic, very low vision. We couldn't see. We don't see far. So I was a young boy trying to go looking after our goat, our sheep. At one point, they would get lost in the bush. And when I brought the other sheep and goat at home, then there was a challenge that, I was also told. I remember at one point, I was spanked, heavily punished, because my parents were saying, wewe ulienda kucheza, you went playing around, that is why the mbuzi zikapotea. And it was very challenging, and I had to receive all that, knowing that I was being punished for a mistake that I didn't do.
Yes.
It is a shortcoming within myself. So that brought me a lot of challenges on myself. And then when growing up as a child, I went to school. Then this school, I met teachers who are not ready, and they didn't have an idea on how to handle me. And I couldn't read whatever was being communicated on the blackboard. And because I wanted to belong to that kind of group, I could hide I didn't tell my teachers that I was not able to read.
Okay.
Then they would look at my eyes and they would see, huyu anaona. Then why are you not writing when others are writing? And then now it became another source of tension between me and my teachers.
Yes.
So it was not easy.
Yes.
Growing up was very hard. And of course, and then the sunburn.
Yes.
I talked about the sun. The sunburn is one of the most challenging thing a person with albinism can encounter.
Yes.
Because for those of us who have the light skin, if you go to, have you ever been poured hot water? Yeah? Hot water
That
on your skin.
Oh.
Then what you feel after the water has dried,
Yes.
then that burning is what we feel when we get the sunburn. Then you feel it all throughout the evening. So during the day, you are getting sunburn. Sometimes you don't feel it. But in the evening is when you feel the burning. Is when you feel the sun is really burning.
Wow.
So it was very challenging. And then if you look at persons with albinism, those who have sunburn,
Yes.
the skin peels
Off, yes.
and then they are not very good to look at. So most of them have very skin that is not very good.
Yes.
So you can imagine a teenage boy growing up amongst girls. He wants to belong and he wants to court.
Yes.
He wants to be loved. He wants to, and then now this guy cannot talk to a girl. You can imagine the other challenge I'm trying to allude to.
Yes.
But I thank God because I got to overcome all those challenges. Even my education was smooth.
Yes.
I am proud to say that I'm over and above, being an elder of the church, which I have actually done very well. In fact, yesterday, as we were celebrating the 100 years of elders ordination, I got a certificate because I'm the oldest, old in quotes. I'm younger than others in my parish,
Yes.
yet I am one of the first person to be ordained as an elder. In fact, I'm the first person to be ordained in my parish as an elder. I have now 25 years of eldership I was celebrating.
That's wonderful.
So I have overcome all those. And I'm a family person. My children are big. I have 2 grandchildren.
Yes.
And I'm happy. And I work for the government.
Yes.
I've been able to initiate programs. In fact, I'm the founding chair of Albinism Society of Kenya. I've mentored Honorable Mwaura. We've worked with Justice Mumbi Gugi. When I was the chairman of Albinism Society, she was my treasurer. And we worked. And at least I've left a mark in this world. Should I go home today, I will go satisfied that I've made a mark. And that is all with the help of God.
Yes. That's really great too. And also to hear all those stories and the way that you grew up and the challenges that came. And even today as we talk about the rights, of people with disability in the church.
Sure.
And when I listen to your story and I hear the challenges and obstacles that came, through different places, I would want to ask myself, which question I will pose to you, how was your, challenge? Was there any challenge now when it comes to church? Expecting that, we would expect the church to come up and be a people who upholds the rights of those who have disabilities, and the people who will be caring and showing that love. How was it for you?
Okay, for me, I want to thank God because of placing me in an environment where kind of, for lack of a describing word, it's like we were very proactive. We were very proactive. And the church leadership during our time when we were being ordained as elders didn't have a lot of choices. They had to pick on me anyway. Because 1, I was educated. 2, I was born again. I was seriously in mission and all that. So they had to pick on me. But after picking on me is when they realized the qualities that I possess, or rather that I have in the church leadership. Now, there are so many churches within our Presbyterian church, even outside Presbyterian.
Yes.
There are so many churches that deny offering opportunities to persons with disabilities. Yeah?
Yes.
Not knowing that those people can, given the opportunity, they can even be better than the one, in quotes, able-bodied, right? So I had challenges, yes. Of course, even being accepted in the community, there were challenges. But after getting my space, then later on they realized, kumbe we were losing. And it is only after giving, like for example, you realized when we started the albinism movement in Kenya, it is only after starting that movement when we realized in 2017, a girl with albinism leading the rest of the children in KCPE. It is only after starting such a movement is when we realized, kumbe we have special leaders like the likes of Honorable Mwaura, who can lead. So out of fair bahati trial and error is when now we are realizing that these gifts are within this cohort of people. And I'm glad you are not using that term that many people use, people living with disabilities. We say people with disabilities. We don't live with it. Living, it's like me, I'm living with this coat. But, it's like the coat is living here, the disability is here, me, I'm here. Then we live together.
Yes.
No, it is people with disabilities.
Yes.
And I'm sure this theme, that topic of discussion, we are saying disabilities that are not recognizable, easily seen.
Yes.
Like a person who has hearing impairment, deaf.
Yes.
You meet such a person in the streets, you would not know whether he has a disability until when you communicate with him, you see him having a communication barrier. So most of the persons with hearing disabilities have encountered a lot of problems, particularly to the law enforcers. Anashikwa na polisi, he's slapped. Why am I talking to you and you are not talking to me? Anapigwa makofi mbili tatu. After receiving 2-3 slaps is when the police realizes, hey, this person is not able to communicate. So my call to the society and the community at large is that we need to stand with those people with disabilities that are hidden. In fact, most of the disabilities are hidden.
Yes.
And the ones that are seen, like mine, it's not an issue.
Yes.
It's just a skin that has turned the color. The rest, I'm a normal, quote unquote, person. Yeah? Only that I said we have a lot of problems with the eyes.
Yes.
Then holding other factors constant, mimi ni mzee, mimi ni mwanaume, I'm a father, I'm a husband. And yes, we are, yes.
Yes, as you've said, there are many disabilities that are not seen. And people may not know, that many a times we look at those that we can see.
Sure.
And see them having that challenge. Yet we have no idea that even some of us, that many of us, live with some form of disability. And I'm saying this because, I went through school and I cleared school, but I realized when I went to college at some point, I discovered I had a form of disability that I did not know about.
Sure.
Because I had challenges at school that I'm able to teach people, yet I'm not be able to do my exam and pass well. And yet I know that, every subject. I'll go teach people mathematics, but when you tell me to do mathematics, the exam, I fail.
Yes.
And I didn't know what it was until I'm out of school and I'm in college, just doing a short program somewhere. And someone who was from far, had come from America, discovered I had a challenge, that I have ideas, but are not able
They are
to
not
bring
able
them
to
on
come up.
paper.
Yes, exactly.
And so that there's kind of like a miscommunication between my mind and
Yes,
my hand.
yes, yes.
And people don't know that. And we can beat a child and push them thinking they are not able to do
Right.
things, yet it is not their wishing. It's just because they have a disability of a
That
kind
is not seen.
that maybe we can help and make their lives better. And even as we talk about all that, and as we discover ourselves,
Sure,
and as we talk about the church,
sure.
how would the church, because it seems, we pick up something and somewhere on, as we go on, we seem to slack
To slacken,
and
yes.
look back,
Yes.
and we forget some of these things. How would the
Yes.
church be able to reaffirm these rights, not only for people who have who living with disability, like albinism, but there are many other that may be seen or unseen.
Yes.
But how would the church reaffirm their rights and make them or help them be able to rise up? Because I know they also have a challenge when they,
Sure.
people don't show them
Sure.
what they. Yes. How would you?
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your small bit of your story. And yes, indeed, the church, what I've been pushing, and we are teaming up with Reverend Obonyo in it's called Ka. Reverend Obonyo in Kariobangi, yes.
Kariobangi, okay.
Sorry, I also have a
it's okay.
small disability of memory lapse.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
And the likes of Reverend Don
Yes.
of Bahati Matthias. I was asking them, because they are in the clergy category, and also us as elders and all that. I'm trying to push a space where the Presbyterian church leadership
Yes.
would establish a disability desk within our headquarters, so that we have a coordinator kind of person who is just like what we have a coordinator coordinating the church school activities. We have a coordinator coordinating youth and guild. I'm saying it is possible to have a desk of a coordinator in head office. This time, not to coordinate the disability activities,
Yes.
but this time to coordinate mainstreaming of disability into our various church functions. Like, if we have such an office, then we are sure that things will come out rolling. Like now, the St. Andrews, you have a Disability Awareness Week.
Yes.
Maybe that is an initiative of the current moderator of this parish. Should he be transferred and go to another parish, then that becomes a vacuum. Because maybe, I'm saying maybe.
Yeah, I understand.
But I know within the St. Andrews, if they have their strategic plan and all that, if they have targeted or rather purposed to have a disability mainstreaming week as a church, then that is very good. But there are so many other churches that do not have a disability mainstreaming. Mainstreaming, why mainstreaming? Because mainstreaming is the one that will address all the other issues. Like, for example, who is constructing the church sanctuary?
Yes.
Are they thinking disability? When we do our programs, like when we run our youth programs,
Yes.
are we thinking disability? Everything that the church plans,
Yes.
we should have disability as a mainstreamed activity, because it's cross-cutting.
Yes.
Other than opposed, the other thinking would be a person there coordinating people with the disabilities, so that the other churches that do not have persons with disabilities go on with their activities. Then should we have a church with a program with disability, then they go on. No, that should not be the approach. The approach should be, whether you have a person with a disability or not, then systems must be put in place to mainstream disability in our church.
Thank you. Yes, I know here in St. Andrews, yes, we have, a disability ministry that
Yes.
runs.
Yes.
And so this is not just a one-off, but it's something that runs. But it doesn't mean we have reached, because I believe there is a lot and a lot more that we can do to be able to empower them and also
Like,
to
for
bring
example,
up their rights. Yes.
can I just ask,
Uh-huh.
in that disability ministry, how much is the allocation, the budgetary allocation? You know?
Yes.
Don't answer me,
No,
but
I
this is food for thought.
Yes, yes.
We could have, yes, a ministry that is running,
Yes.
but is it a ministry just like the other church school ministry, the other, missions? I know you're very good at
Yes.
missions. And by the way, thank you very much. St. Andrews, you've constructed a lot of churches. I know in Sultan Hamud
Yes,
areas,
yes.
you've paid for evangelists around there, and, very huge things. Can we have also, a huge budget, set aside for disability ministry? Now, ministry within the church and then outside the
Yes,
church,
yeah, I
that kind of
understand,
thing.
yes.
So that you are thinking in terms of ministry within. How do we mainstream? And thank you,
Mainstream, yes.
because St. Andrews, you always have a sign language interpreter and all that.
Yes.
This is really encouraging.
Yes.
But still, there is still more,
Yes.
something more that you
There's
could
a
still
lot
do.
more that we can do.
Like,
yes.
for example, accessibility.
Yes.
Yeah? Like these days, this is our main sanctuary. Do we have a ramp right here? Or those stairs? should a guest preacher comes
Yes.
to preach in this sanctuary, he will be required to, to preach from wherever, and then he's not. And, those small things,
Yes.
are we able to kind of be proactive
Exactly.
and initiate such programs that are geared towards helping persons with disabilities?
I believe.
And then there are so many other people with disabilities. Even within, can you do a small, survey?
Survey. Yes.
Within the church members who attend to this church,
Yes.
I am sure there are so many other people with disabilities that are left at home. I'm talking about autism,
Yes.
autistic children,
Yes.
and even adults. People with disabilities are not brought in this sanctuary. It's only a few that land into this sanctuary.
Yes.
Very many have relatives and people, they live at home. That one I can
Yes.
confidently say that so many people with disabilities are left at home. Do we have a program
Yes.
that is taking care of
Care of that, all
people
that.
with
Yes.
autistic, mentally handicapped, and all that?
Yes.
Thank you.
I believe, as we share this, that this will be a reawakening or also a challenge, not only to the leadership, but also to the many who comes here
Sure.
and those who be able to watch this and listen to your stories. And then that would help us,
Sure.
to arise wherever that we may be asleep. Or also, just be able to widen our scope.
Yes.
And open our eyes and ears to be able to build this ministry and become a better thing, a better ministry, and as you talk about it. And I think maybe we can end there. I know there are many things that we can talk about, but I believe this has, it's just a small talk to help us pick up,
Yes.
where we have slackened, where we need to rise up, and so that we can be able to champion the rights of those that within us.
And I would
And
also,
so as I end, maybe I would say, what would be your last comment?
yes,
as
I would
we end?
also want to request the disability committee. I'm sure you have a committee
Yes.
that runs the disability programs in this church. Yes, indeed you are ahead of the others, but I would want us to engage with the National Council
Yes.
more, see what we have there, see what you can benefit from whatever programs that we are running at the National Council,
Yes.
so that we can see how best to help our people.
Amen.
Like that program where we are training on sign language.
Yes.
That is a program that the church can target, and we get more sign language interpreters. We do train on basic sign language.
Yes.
Then somebody can go for another training for
Yes.
as an interpreter now. But you know, there are so many other programs that are running there that the church may want to get an interest to come and partner with us.
Okay, thank
so
you.
karibuni sana.
Thank you. We
Thank you.
really appreciate Mr. Alex Munyere. We really thank God for the opportunity to come and share with us. And I believe this has opened up, you know, a lot of talk that we need to talk about, you know, how are we thinking about disability rights here in our church and even beyond, you know, how should we, you know, as members of the church, rise up and pick up the challenge and see to it that we help those who we find living with disability to be able to rise up and be empowered so that they can become that which God has created them to be. Because all of us, as I said at the beginning, that we are all created in God's image and we are important. So thank you, Mr. Alex, and we also appreciate our sign interpreter, Judy Kehumba, and my name is Andrew Nyomo. God bless you and keep championing the rights of those living with disability. Thank you.